Tonight, dozens of Fix the Country protesters remanded into prison custody until 8th October after they were slapped with a charge of unlawful assembly. We'll take you live to the courts where organizers of the anti-Galamsey protests have been protesting what they term as unjust arraignment before the courts.
Emancipate yourself, so emancipate yourself from mental slavery. I don't know how more.
Stop again. Otherwise, give me an arrest me coming back from church. I was coming back from mass. You guys arrested me. Give me my towel, please. Give my towel. No, give my towel. No, give my towel.
And Top Story is always brought to you by Telecel, connecting energies and holy insecticide spray and coil. Enjoy a holy sleep. Tonight, dozens of protesters arrested by the Ghana Police Service have been remanded into prison custody until the 8th of October. It followed the police charging them with conspiracy to commit crime, specifically unlawful assembly. These protesters hit the streets for 3 days between the 21st and 23rd to demand urgent action to end the illegal mining currently wreaking havoc on the environment. Now, the police had earlier secured an injunction to stop the protests, but backtracked and decided to provide security only if the protesters changed the location of the planned protest. We'll take you live to the courts for more shortly. But first, listen to how some of the protesters reacted when they came to court today.
These people are ridiculous. Emancipate yourself, so emancipate yourself from mental slavery. I don't know how more.
Stop again. Otherwise, for 6 months, and I just get controller. God will punish the other Wait. Give me my towel. Give me my towel. Give me my towel. I'm not giving my towel. Give me an arrest me coming back from church. I was coming back from mass. You guys arrested me. Give me my towel, please. Give my towel. No, give my towel. No, give my towel. I cannot have God. Is that God inside? Is that God inside? For this useless arrest, God will punish you people. God will.
Just a taste of what was happening in court today. I want to take you there live right now. Kenneth JC is standing by for us at a venue where there is a flurry of activity as we speak. I'm talking about the courts. And Kenneth, which court are we talking about right now?
We're talking about the Accra Circuit Court, Evans, where about 40 of them were presented before the court today.
And tell us about those remanded. How many so far?
Well, so far, 39 have been remanded. And now with the 39, we have 21 being remanded into prison custody, while 18 have been remanded into police custody. With those that were remanded into prison custody, they were not allowed to say whether they are guilty of the charges leveled against them or not. With the ones that were remanded into police custody, they all pleaded not guilty to the charges leveled against them. So in all, 39 have been remanded, some into prison, others into police custody. Now there's a bench warrant arrest for one of them because, according to the police, she was released on inquiry bail and did not appear in court today. So there's a bench warrant that has been issued for one of them.
See, and they've been charged with unlawful assembly. I mean, how so? Because we know that the police, after they secure the injunction, claim that they will allow them to go ahead, and in fact allow them to go ahead. Have the police been explaining why they're deciding to charge them now with unlawful assembly?
Well, the police have been tight-lipped on that, but the state attorney did explain that they were charged with unlawful assembly because they entered into perimeters where the police did not want to allow them to enter. You know, there were roadblocks that they defied the police order on the day. On the 3 day, there were places that were blocked, but they decided to penetrate into those places. So the state attorney says that these are all places that they assembled unlawfully.
What do we know about the whereabouts of Bakavoma or the convener?
Well, Bakavoma will be presented before the court tomorrow because he was arrested yesterday. Now, the people that have been put before the court that were remanded into prison and police custody, they were arrested on Sunday. So Bakavoma will appear before the court simply because he was arrested a day after those who were put before the court today were arrested. So he appears in court tomorrow.
And is he in police custody or in prison custody? Do we know?
We have no idea which custody he is now. In fact, even the ones that have been taken away, when I spoke to their counsel, he did mention that they have no idea which prison or police custody that they have been taken to. So as it stands now, we have no idea which prison or police custody the lead convener of the group, Oliver Bakavomawa, is in.
Were they all represented by their lawyers?
Yes. So they were divided into groups. We had a group of 9, a group of 11 people, a group of 10 people, and another group of 9. And all those groups were represented by a lead counsel. So they all had lawyers who wanted them to be bailed. In fact, there were 2 people who say that they were wounded because they were beaten with the flat surface of machete by the police, and that they have sustained various degrees of injuries, and their counsel pleaded with the court to allow them to be granted bail on that basis, but the court felt that wasn't enough.
And we also know that some of them have been speaking to you. There was quite a scene, was there not, when some of them were being ushered into the courts, they were chanting at the cameras.
Yes, famous amongst them is social media influencer and lawyer, I'm a governor, who was shouting that she's just a 26-year-old lawyer who has been arrested just for exercising her civil duty. And then there was another one who says that he was just coming from church. He has no idea why he has been arrested by the police. There's another one who also says that he's just a maid. He's a maid who is just living close by where the demonstration took place. He has no idea why he has been arrested or brought before them. Now, they accuse the police of not giving them food nor water during the period they have been in the police custody. But that was refuted in the court by the chief investigator because the state attorney refuted the counsel's allegations that these people were not given food, water, they were not given access to their families, their phones were seized from them, but the state prosecutor did indicate that there is no evidence to back that. When the judge asked, does the state prosecutor have evidence? And then she referred to the investigator, and the investigator did indicate that indeed they fed them with food and water, and even this morning he contacted the family members of those he had their numbers.
And so Ama Governor is one of those who will be behind bars, sleeping behind bars again tonight.
Yes, she is. She is one of those who will be behind bars. And then there's also Felicity Nelson, who is also a very vocal member of the Fix the Country movement. And then also there's Ralph St. Williams, who was arrested not long ago for disturbing, for pulling down some structures when he went to the National Cathedral. So these are some of the big names who are part of the 39 people who will be spending their night from now until at least the 8th of October behind bars.
And presumably we should expect more of these protesters to be put before court tomorrow?
Yes, we should. Because aside Oliver Bakavomawa, there are a few others who were also arrested yesterday, and all of those will be represented in court tomorrow, and judgment will be passed on them.
Ken, thank you very much. And Kenneth, there in court for us as we watch this unfold with the police charging the protesters, as you've seen the protests play over the weekend with unlawful assembly. We'll get into that pretty shortly for you as far as this charge is concerned and what this means for those who currently been remanded into prison custody. But the last few minutes, the protesters have issued a statement with a raft of fresh accusations leveled at the police. My colleague joining me right now with details of this, James Aveji. What is it that the protesters are saying in this latest statement?
Evan, so they are strongly condemning the ongoing, what they call unlawful actions of the Ghana Police Service against peaceful protesters, and they've been given some key issues to justify their position. First, on unjust arrest and arraignment, they said that several of their colleagues were quote-unquote abducted by the police and unjustly arraigned before court without due process. They said they have received credible intelligence that protesters arrested late Sunday afternoon and yesterday Monday are being deliberately transferred to different police stations across the region in Accra here. And this, they say, is a ploy to ensure they spend a maximum 48-hour detention period before they are gained access to legal representation. They continue by saying that the police are intentionally denying detained protesters their right to legal counsel in clear violation of their constitutional right, and ended that these actions represent an attempt to suppress the voices of citizens exercising their legitimate right to protest, undermining the democratic principles of freedom of assembly and expression. And it ends on this slug that, quote, the enemy will punch, but they will not win this fight for the soul of our country's waters and soil.
Thank you very much. And I want to bring in right now Prince Ganaku, who is lawyer for the protesters. Also joining me is Nadine Swa, one of the conveners for Fix the Country movement. Bobby Banson is private legal practitioner, also joining us to weigh in on what is unfolding as far as these protesters are concerned. Praise Ganaku, thanks for joining us here on Top Story. Today you try to get bail for your clans. It appears you did not succeed. Some of them are actually heading for prison tonight. They're going to be spending the next few days there until the 8th of October. From what you understand, they have been charged now with unlawful assembly. Did the police explain what really informed this charge?
Yes, I mean, the procedure obviously is that you state the facts. So they are saying that they conspired to assemble unlawfully in contravention of the police's the injunction that the police got. So that's the gravamen of their case, basically.
And what's your reaction to the court denying the bail for many of these clients of yours who had hoped to get bail tonight?
Sorry, can you please take that again?
What's your reaction to the court's decision to refuse your application
it's astounding,
to?
Actually, it's if you were in court today, you would be incredibly surprised, and that's saying a lot, because for lawyers, you should never discount the possibility of things going your way. But if you were in court today and you heard the arguments of both sides, I can tell you, look, the prosecution didn't even try. They didn't even try. So for them to still get the decision is astounding to us. It would be astounding to anyone. That the court record is a public document. Anybody can apply for it. So I mean, I would. There's a limit to what I can say as a lawyer, but I would recommend that you go to the Circuit Court Accra, the registrar of the Circuit Court Accra, and apply for a copy of the court note. And you will see it is an incredibly surprising decision, given the arguments that were made, and even given the state of the law. But hey, there's only so much we can do at this time. We will file the application for bail at the High Court tomorrow, definitely.
I mean, the court would have given.
Yes.
Surely the court would have given reasons for denying your bail applications.
Yes, they did, and the reasons are that in the interest of peace, the protesters have to be remanded. But very respectfully, with the utmost respect, these people were arrested for a 3-day demonstration that has ended. What is the public interest here that you are protecting or seeking to protect? They have an inherent right to bail. We know that bail is not to be withheld as punishment, and that everybody is presumed innocent until proven guilty. Everybody has a right to their personal liberty. And if you are going to curtail these rights, then there has to be clear reasons why. There has to be a serious justification for it. So what is the serious justification? What's the public interest here that the court is really trying to protect? There are grounds for refusing bail under Act 30. Okay, the police haven't disclosed their witnesses, so it's not as though the protesters are going to tamper with the witnesses or with the evidence. The protesters have fixed place of abode. One of them is a lawyer. And if the court wanted to make the grant of bail contingent on the police ascertaining their places of abode or their place of occupation, they could have done that. one person was not even part of the demonstrators, was just going to visit their wife at the hospital and was picked up by the police. We made this case to the court, and the court still, it is astounding. It literally, it blows the mind. I cannot tell you how astounding this is if you are a lawyer or if you are in our industry. You'll be very, very surprised by this. But we can only follow what the process is. So tomorrow, first thing in the morning by 8:30, we would have refiled the application at the High Court.
At the High Court, hoping for the police to produce their bodies and release them. But some of them went into prison custody. From what I understand, others went into police custody.
Yeah.
Can you explain why the difference in where to detain them?
No, I as at now, I don't know. I'm just leaving the court premises, so I don't know where they have been taken. So I'm now going to touch base with the rest of my colleagues and find out.
And also, are all your clients accounted for? All those arrested over the weekend?
Are all the clients accounted
for?
Also,
those arrested over the weekend.
The reason I can't answer that right now without more information is because they were split into two courts. And so I represented the accused persons in Circuit Court 10, but there was a larger number in Circuit Court 6. I'm not privy to the number in Circuit Court 6, but I know that in Circuit Court 10, there were only 9. So until I touch base with my colleagues, I will not be able to speak to whether everybody came. But I am hearing that Oliver wasn't in court, one Glenn Sam wasn't in court, one Cedric Mensah wasn't in court, one Michael Amofa also wasn't in court, and we still don't know where they are. Felicity was also not in court. Felicity Nelson was also not in court. We still, it is. I cannot explain to you how incredibly, out of pocket all of this is.
So as you speak tonight,
people have been arrested, and their lawyers literally don't know where they are.
So you don't know where Oliver Bakavomo is as we speak tonight.
We don't know where Oliver is.
But you've tried the whole day to try and locate him?
That's the state of things.
You've tried the whole day to try and locate him? You've been speaking to the police? What have they told you?
After the police, they refuse to engage us on any matter at all. That their position, their posturing from the beginning has always been that, we are the opponents, and we are the ones. Yes, we are the ones who are fighting for the people that they want to imprison. So they won't deal with us. Basically, we are trying to thwart their motives, so they are not going to engage with us on any way, shape, or form, basically.
And quickly clarify this for me. I know they've been charged with unlawful assembly, but the police yet secured an injunction, but also told us before the protest that they're going to allow the protest to happen. Presumably, they themselves came around to accept the fact that the protest must happen, and on the basis of that, the protest went ahead. How do you reconcile that as a lawyer who's representing your clients?
Exactly. So it's very surprising that the Attorney General will come to court today and say and lead the charge that they were unlawfully assembling. Because the injunction that they got was to prohibit the assembly at a specific place. The protest didn't happen at that place. So it's all quite, there's, everybody who is reasonable can infer what is going on. As a person of high moral character and proven integrity myself, I can't speak to some of these things. So,
but it's also
everybody who is reasonable and can read between the lines knows exactly what is going on.
But it's also a fact.
You know exactly what is going on.
But it's also a fact, that the police, although said you can go ahead, the protesters can go ahead with the protest, wanted the protest happening in a particular location. And from the briefing that the police gave subsequently, it appears the protesters breached those rules around where to protest.
You see, and this is my response to that. It was the police that decided to go for an injunction, not a month before the protest, but 2 days before the protest. That's the first thing, right? If they were so inclined in their affidavit, which we haven't even seen, they could have specifically asked the court to prohibit the protest full stop. What they asked the court for was a prohibition of the protest at a specific location. And that is not where the protest happens. And we know in in our jurisprudence, in this under our laws in this country, that we have an inherent right to protest, which is not regulated by the police. The reason the courts have said that you should notify the police is because they want the police to be able to maybe provide guidance or provide resources or to ensure that there is no maybe fracas. You understand? But it is never the case that you need the permission of the police. So if the court has said, okay, don't do your protest in this location, and I decide to do my protest elsewhere, you, the police, cannot tell me where I should have my demonstration. It is up to you to have gone to the court to prohibit for you to have to go to the court to prohibit the thing simpliciter. But that's not what you did. That's not what happened.
Well, Prince, thank you very much. And Prince says he still doesn't know where Oliver Bakavomawo is as we speak tonight. He's one of the conveners of the group. Thankfully, Nadiswa joins me now. He's also another convener of the group, the Fix the Country movement. Now, I'm just curious, do you know where your colleague is, Oliver?
No, nobody knows where Oliver is.
I'm pretty sure you've tried the whole day. What have you learned from the police sources you've been working with?
We have no information from anybody as to where Oliver is. And this is just so sad because it's just simply because we want clean water for our children, our grandchildren. We just want clean water that is not poisoned. We want crops that are not poisoned. We want live, animals that we eat, fish that is not poisoned. And this is why we went out to demonstrate. We have no problem with any political party. We don't care what they do. We just want clean water for our children and our grandchildren. And you want to kill us for this? You want to punish us for this? Clean water? The police who were there, I engaged with them. Half of them also want clean water for their children. Actually, more than half. But the orders from above, they had to obey. I have sons, adopted sons and daughters who are in the police, who are in the military. They also want clean water for their children and their grandchildren. And they say to me, Mommy, fight for us because we can't, because we are in the force. We have to keep quiet. Do you think the police, the military, so many people who have been gagged, judges, lawyers, who can't talk, don't want clean water for their children?
On the subject of clean water in Galamsey, there's consensus around what indeed must happen, and I believe you're not on the wrong side of the subject. However, in a protest, it still must be lawful, must it not? I mean, in the case of Oliver, we saw the video of him demobilizing a police vehicle. That certainly cannot be lawful.
You know what? I'm not a lawyer, so I cannot answer that question. All I know is we want clean water for our children and our grandchildren. The cases of kidney problems, cancers in children, is on the rise, and nobody can do anything about it. Nobody in this country can put a stop to it. We don't know how long we've been drinking contaminated water for. The crops we eat, the livestock, the animals that come from the village, the goats, the sheep, the cows. We have been told not to eat ateke because the cassava is watered with contaminated water.
I mean, now please give me an update on this. We also had reports that two of your adopted children, if I'm not mistaken, were also arrested. Have they all now been released to you?
Yes, I have both my grandchildren in my care.
Okay. Thank you very much, Nadine. So I'm grateful that you joined us with your thoughts on this. This is one of the conveners for the Fix the Country movement. I want to bring in Bobby Bansing, who is waiting to weighing on the controversy around the legality of what is happening. As you may have heard, the protesters are accusing the police of unlawfully arraigning them before court today. Bobby, please weighing on the reconciliation between the police's securing of an injunction and then subsequently publicly saying that the protest can go ahead. You've heard Prince Genaku make the point that yes, that protest indeed went ahead and it wasn't at the location where the police have sought the injunction to stop them from protesting at, and so pretty much baffled why the police will now charge his clients with unlawful assembly. What's your own take on this?
Evans, good evening. I do not have the benefit of the particulars of facts that were read by the police or by the state attorneys that were in court today. So perhaps I would rely solely on your newspaper reportage. I think, as we all know, yes, it is true that every person has a right to demonstrate. But even in the course of the demonstrations, you still must abide by the rules and regulations of the country. The fact that they have been arrested does not mean that they are guilty of the offenses that have been levied against them. Bail is completely at the discretion of the court to be exercised within the ambit set down by the law. I'm happy I heard their counsel say that he intends repeating the bail application in the High Court. That is the rule of law. That is the procedure that must be followed. And so in as much as we all say that we have a right to A, B, C, D, when we think that our right is being trampled upon, you would have a right to follow due process. Because in protesting against an illegality, you yourself engage in an illegality. And so if the police are of the opinion that the actions that have been undertaken are illegal, and the lawyers or those that partook in those demonstrations think that the police arrest is also illegal, that is why we have the courts. So that once the court at first instance has refused an application for bail, that is not the end of the matter. The door has not been shut to them. They have a right to repeat the bail application in the High Court. And I'm very happy that they said that will be done tomorrow. Let us test the frontiers of the law. Let us go to the High Court and see if the High Court will exercise the discretion to grant them bail so that we would get to the bottom of this matter.
I mean, as a lawyer, when you hear your colleague lawyer say he is currently does not know the whereabouts of one of his clients, Oliver, of course, the most famous name as part of the protesters, how does that strike you?
Of course, once you are arrested, the Constitution says that you are entitled to counsel of your choice. It's a right that cannot be taken away, no matter the gravity of the offense, no matter what has been. You've been charged with. And so I believe that counsel will know what to do to ensure that he gets access to his client. It's wrong. It must be condemned in every way. If the police refuse access to counsel by somebody who is in their custody, or counsel is refused access to a client, that is not what our Constitution says. So if that has happened, then it is very wrong and must be condemned in no uncertain terms.
Even if the detention is still within the 48 hours allowed by the law?
Yes, the moment you are arrested, the first second you are arrested, you're entitled to counsel. The fact that the police has the discretion to keep you for a period of 48 hours without taking you to court does not mean that any of your rights guaranteed under the Constitution is taken away within that 48 hours, except your freedom of movement. And so apart from that, every other right in the Constitution still upholds. And so if you say that you want to speak to your counsel, or counsel shows up and says, my client is here, I want to speak to him, the police has no discretion. They have to give counsel access to the client, and clients must have access to counsel. That is an enshrined right provision in our Constitution.
Thank you very much, Bobby Bansing. Bobby Bansing is a lawyer. Your thoughts on this? 055-11-11997. More on the war against illegal mining on Newsnight.
Kind of way, tell you so the more money promo now.
Everybody likes money, but what do we like more than money? More money! Join the Telecel More Money promo and win money, more money, and even more money. Simply opt in for free and reload your mobile and broadband and be the lucky winner of the 1 million Ghana cedis grand prize. Also win cash prizes of up to 3 million Ghana cedis in the daily and weekly draws. Opt in for free by dialing *500# or send WIN to 500, or you can opt in on the Telecel Play app. The more you reload, the higher chances of winning in the Telecel More Money promo. Keep loading, win, and be a millionaire.
Telecel. Connecting energies.
Terms and conditions apply. This promo is regulated by the NLA on the Caritas Lottery platform.
Couldn't sleep at night. Mosquitoes will be whining my ears. Bugging me all night long. Till I got for the remedy. Now I'll be spraying them away with holy insecticide spray. Me I go spray them away with holy insecticide spray. When I sleep, me da na ma da with holy insecticide spray.
Holy mosquito coil, holy multi-purpose insecticide spray. Ghana Kron Kron. For bulk purchase, call 0302 681582. This advert is FDA approved.
Hello, my name is Mami Akuya, an entrepreneur and a mother of two. My work keeps me busy most of the time, and sometimes it takes me away from my family. But the safety and health of my family is very important to me. As a working mother, I cannot afford to take any chances when it comes to matters of health. That is why I signed up for a family healthcare plan from Equity Health Insurance. My family and I have access to over 700 hospitals, clinics, opticians, dentists, pharmacies, and diagnostic centers across the length and breadth of Ghana. With Equity Health Insurance, I no longer have to worry about medical bills. Anytime a member of my family visits a hospital, Equity Health Insurance has got my family and I covered. What about you? Who has got you covered?
Call Equity Health Insurance on 050-660-7910 and talk to them about your family health needs now. Visit equityhealthinsurance.com for more information. Equity Health Insurance, here for you.
The Ministry of Education, through the National Teaching Council, presents the Ghana Teacher Prize 2024 on the theme Valuing Teacher Voices towards a new social contract for education. Guest of honor, His Excellency Nana Addo Dankwa Akufo-Addo. The most outstanding teacher will be awarded with a 3-bedroom house. First and second runners-up go with a 4x4 pickup and a saloon car respectively. The best teacher in leadership and administration and the best non-teaching staff get a saloon car respectively. The best college of education tutor gets a 4x4 pickup. Juicy cash prizes for all the level categories. Full scholarship for further studies to all award winners. A 2-day symposium on the 3rd and 4th of October 2024 at Sunset Hotel, Kumasi at 9:30 a.m. Guest of honor for 2-day symposium, Dr. Mahmoud Baumia, the Vice President of Ghana. And the Grand Durbar on Saturday, 5th October 2024 at 10 a.m. at the Great Hall, KNUST, Kumasi. Sponsors: Get Fund, GES Occupational Pension Scheme, Glyco Pension, Prudential Bank Limited, SIC Life, Data Bank Limited, T-Tel, Investcorp, Petra Trust, InnoLink, UNESCO, UNICEF, GCB Bank, ABE Ventures, Ghana Chamber of Mines, IC Giving, Sabre Education, NAT, NAGRAT, CCT, TEU, Media Partner, Multimedia Group Limited. Ghana Teacher Prize 2024. My teacher, my future.
It is 74 days to the presidential and parliamentary election. Hello, good evening and welcome to News Night. Coming up, Ghana Coalition Against Galamsey calls out National House of Chiefs over what it describes as contradictory posture in the fight against illegal mining, demanding the traditional leaders declare their stance on the matter. We have details as civil society movement against illegal mining intensify pressure on government to ban small-scale mining, with protesters pitching camp at various intersections, carrying placards to heighten awareness.
We can all see what's happening with our rivers, and we are devastated, we are sad, we are worried.
The way and manner that this mining is going on is not helping.
Also tonight, retired Supreme Court Justice dissents heavily on the Electoral Commission over its refusal to grant the NDC's request for an independent forensic audit of the voters' register.
Well, the EC is the body mandated to do its work and to handle these things. But that's the trouble with this country. People can hide under the law, subvert it, become dictatorial, throw overboard the Constitution and the rule of law. That's what is happening in this country. It's terrible.
We have details of this raging controversy, with the NDC claiming to have uncovered evidence that suggests the EC may have engaged in more illegalities in its handling of the voters' register.
They are not going to receive it. It is only the forensic audit team that will receive it, because they are not worth our trust. When trust is broken, conflict, we need a third party. Is that not it?
Plus, some CSOs and members of academia call on the NDC to meet the EC halfway, as they say a compromise is inevitable. In business,
now, China remains the major destination for the country's imports and export as United Arab Emirates overtakes Switzerland as gold shipments for the country.
And in sports,
well, the Sports Ministry and the Ghana League Clubs Association took their turn before Parliament Select Committee on Sports as it began its assessment of the current state of football in the country. And
later, government finally raises a part of the funds to pay off $134 million judgment debt to international energy firm Trafigura as the company moves to seize Ghanaian assets in South Africa.
So it is a failure of the government of Ghana to pay this judgment debt entered in January 2021, which has led to repeated applications in various courts by GPGC.
We have the very latest plus of views and comments all here on News 905511119997. My name is Evans Mensah.
I'm Forstina Sarfo. Please stay for details. Now we start with the Ghana coalition against Galamsey because they have called out the National House of Chiefs over what the group describes as its contradictory position on the fight against Galamsey. President of the National House of Chiefs came under public criticism last week when he dismissed calls for a total ban on all mining activities in Ghana, advocating instead for stronger regulations to ensure responsible mining. His statement comes at a time when pressure is mounting on government to address illegal mining over the widespread destruction of water bodies and forests. Well, the latest to condemn his statement is the Ghana Coalition Against Galamsey, and they have issued a statement on that. James Aveji joins me in the studio with details of that. James, what is the position of the coalition on the President of House of Chiefs' comments?
Well, first, they have noted with, quote, utter disappointment the position of the National House of Chiefs conveyed through its president, purporting to reject any ban on all forms of mining. The coalition further notes the House of Chiefs' notable silence and its belated position, now published through the statement given by the president. They said this will regrettably reinforce and incentivize the rampant and wanton destruction of Ghana's environment and forest reserves. It continues that in this regard, the coalition especially calls to mind the contradictory posture of the House contained in its earlier statement dated 6th day of February 2024, and they provided a copy of that, which talks about a meeting the House of Chiefs held at the time when the call for ban on illegal mining was also in session, stating that they condemned that, set up a committee to look at the issues and all of that. And so the coalition is not says that it is also not unaware that some chiefs have been complicit in the ongoing poisoning of water bodies and destruction of farmlands in the name of Galamsey.
They're making some demands. Share with us.
Exactly. They're calling on the House of Chiefs to clarify its position on the specific question of Galamsey, and also says that as custodians of the customary resources of the various communities, the House has a crucial role to play in protecting these resources from the rampages of illegal mining, urging them to join more forcefully the forces of opposition to the menace that threatens the very lives of their subjects and those of posterity.
Thank you, James Aveji. Evans?
We can now speak to Dr. Kenneth Ashigbe. He's a Media Coalition Against Illegal Mining convener. Joins us on the line right now. Dr. Ashigbe, thanks for your time here on News Night. I mean, I have a copy of what the President of the National House of Chiefs said, and I want to quote him. He says, quote, "You all know I'm against Galamsey, and I will continue to fight against it. But that should not prevent Ghanaians from engaging in mining activities. Gold is for us, but the right method should be used to mine it. That is why there is an institution like the Minerals Commission that is responsible for regulating these activities. We are pleading to those calling for the declaration of a state of emergency and those calling for a ban on mining should know the benefit of the nation, the benefit the nation gets from mining. If we stop mining, most of our youth will be pushed out of jobs." What did he say wrong here?
So, good evening, Evans. So the President of the House of Chiefs is happy that a young boy who had just left KNUST Forstina and died He's happy that systematically you and I are being poisoned. He's happy that the turbidity of water is at 14 NTUs. And again, Evans, we are asking, mining on water bodies, the buffers of water bodies, is illegal. And the interesting thing, if you go into the forest reserves, those who are mining in the forest reserves are not your small-scale miners. So I don't know which small-scale, where he is introducing the issue on small-scale mining. We are asking for a state of emergency to be declared on the water bodies, the buffers of water bodies, and in the forest reserves. The challenge is that, this is the president of the House of Chiefs, a very powerful and influential person. We are in a crisis where turbidity of water is 14,000 NTUs, and he mounts a platform to speak, and he would not, figure out how we deal with the crisis. He is still telling us to keep on doing what has been done. I went into in Koko last week. Driving on the road, I had not gotten off the road. You could still see people, mining illegally on the side of the road. There's a story that my Joy Online had released just today. You see the number of chamfans that are in the water bodies. And our House of Chiefs, instead of supporting this particular fight, is trying to get the pressure off the back of it. How are we going to live this crisis for the people that he's even saying that have jobs, that are being poisoned, that now when they are going to, where they are going to have to carry water along with them. We see that. So you see the paradox. This is one person who says that he's against Galamsey. Then when you say declare a state of emergency over the water bodies and the buffers to ensure that mining on the water bodies stop, he says we should stop it. That is why we ask for a clarity in what the position of the House of Chiefs is. So they then issue a statement on the 6th of February where they talk about setting up specialized courts. And in that same statement, they are looking for jobs for themselves on the board. We are in a crisis. What we need to do is what can we do to stop where the downward slope that we are headed towards. And so for people like them, and unfortunately, out of the 50 or so statements that have come, we have not seen anything coming from the House of Chiefs. Fortunately for us, we have traditional leaders like Otumfo who are not just speaking by taking actions. We have the Chief of Jama who is not just speaking but taking action. When some people go to him trying to influence him to a sum of about $1 million, this is an old chief, very frail, but he decides that they are not going to do that. So we'll be expecting that the House of Chiefs would take leadership role. Unfortunately for us, they as custodians of our culture, some of their sacred groups that they are supposed to be superintending over are being desecrated with reckless abandon. And so we definitely expect more from them. Because we see, unfortunately, some of our chiefs have been shown to be complicit or incompetent so far as this fight is concerned.
I mean, there's this controversy around when the call comes for the ban on mining. Surely when you've asked for the ban on mining, you're not asking for a ban on all forms of mining, including legal small-scale and large-scale mining, are you?
No, you see, we are not. And again, so that's why I'm saying that. So when you see a statement coming from him like that, because you see, Evans, the water bodies and the buffers of water bodies, nobody there is working legally. So that's not a ban. It's just enforcing the laws of our land. Where we are asking for the ban to come, whether legal or illegal, it's in the forest reserve that houses our water bodies. And also asking for the revocation of LI 2462. Because, you see, that's endangering our water bodies. If most of our water bodies take their sources from there, the oxygen, the trees that clarify our oxygen are being taken. And again, it's important to state that these forest resources also generate jobs. The people who used to fish on these water bodies, these are jobs that are also getting. People who are losing their cocoa farms are also jobs that are going. So when we say that, and even in terms of the state of emergency, it gives you an opportunity to breathe, and it gives you an opportunity to regroup and then figure out what it is that you're going to do. It's unfortunate that when he made all the statements he made, he has not given us any new ways that have been proven to work.
And very quickly, I know you have joined forces with organized labor and asked government to, of course, impose the state of emergency, but you've given government up until the end of September to act. September is ending at the end of this particular week. What's the next line of action? Have you resolved with organized labor what will happen next week if you don't see the demands fulfilled?
So there's a lot of engagements going on, even tonight. So the Ghana Coalition Against Galamsey is made up of labor, made up of the media, academia, religious bodies, traditional bodies, businesses, pressure groups. So we are busy. We're going to be busy this week deciding. But as was said by the Ghana Medical Association and then reiterated by UTAC, and then organized labor also took it. All the constitutional means that we have are available to us to be used, and we're going to deploy all of them, from civil action to strikes and all of that. I know for a fact that there are some religious bodies that are planning some prayer protests that are going to also be submitting.
Did you say
petitions.
prayer protests?
Yes. They actually are going to, embark on prayer protests. So they are going to be calling on God to do what God can do that they can't do. And they themselves would also be doing their works. And they would also be submitting petitions to His Excellency the President. So all of that is being worked. I'm sure next week we are going to be seeing all of these actions take place.
Thank you very much. Kenneth Ashigbe is the convener of the Media Coalition Against Illegal Mining. Talking about protests, we don't have to wait till next week, do we? Because there have been a protest today on this
Yes,
subject.
they have been. And this time it's not a prayer protest. It's a different kind of protest. And I'm sure, Evans, you might have seen some of the people clad in red holding placards in varied intersections with inscriptions on them across the capital today. Now, this is another form of protest initiated by the civil society movement against illegal mining. They are also piling pressure on government to take a decisive action against Galamsey menace. My colleague Sweetie Aboji spoke to some of them.
So we can all see what's happening with our rivers, and we are devastated, we are sad, we are worried, not just about today but about tomorrow. We're wondering what our children going to drink someday if this issue of Galamsey is not, nipped now. Yes, so that is why we are here. When you look at my placards, it's saying that repeal LI 2462. We all know what that law is, and it's granting access to mining in our forest reserves. And our forest reserves is like, it contains a lot of watersheds. Most of our rivers take their sources from there, and that is why we are here.
Reason why I woke up today at 4:30 a.m. to make it here today is that I feel like people have detached themselves from the issue. I want everyone to know that it will affect you one way or the other. So in any way you can, whether it's advocacy on your social media, whether it's pushing for policy reformation, whatever you can do, it does not matter your age. One day, when the tap turns, there will be no water. That's my message to everyone.
Like, everybody is trying to send a message across that there should be a halt for us to have a constructive solution or have a constructive way of actually mining. We are not saying we shouldn't mine at all. Actually, God gave us this natural resource for us to capitalize on to lift our GDP or have money in the country. Yes, but then the way and manner that this mining is going on is not helping.
I want to bring in the Dara Bosu, who's the Deputy National Director of Arocha, joins us on the line right now. Objective achieved today?
Yes, Evans, thank you very much for having me. I think today we're able to get the message to commuters who are trying to get to their offices. I think, as has been said, we want to make sure the policymakers in Accra really think through what is happening and connect with the issues on the ground, because as far as we are concerned, we cannot continue as is, and there needs to be some big changes in the way we handle the issue of Galamsey.
And you went out protesting. Is this a one-off?
Well, I think this is part of several actions being initiated by CSOs. As you've seen, there were some demonstrations in the past 2 days, and we're also following up with this action. There is going to be some also talk and dialogue on next steps, and we are actually mobilizing several initiatives, several strategies towards the build-up of the end of September. And we are all saying that government should listen, because the end of September comes so close, and we want to make sure that they take action. But if they don't, then we have no choice than to really embark on the strikes and demonstrations as organized labor has indicated.
Do you also plan to join the organized labor protests together with the Media Coalition and the Ghana Coalition Against Illegal Mining? That is planned for sometime next week.
Definitely. We are planning to do that. Actually, CSO's CASA initiative, CSO Plus platform on SDGs, all of us are looking to put our weight behind the organized labor and media coalition, because this is the only leverage we think we have, and we are going to use it to the fullest. Yeah.
Thank you very, very much. And I want to get your thoughts on this. You may have seen them on the streets. They're protesting today at 05511119997 to some of the stories now.
Well, Evans, Joy News is learning government has raised $43 million to pay part of the $134 million judgment debt to international energy firm Trafigura. The firm has threatened to take over several Ghanaian properties in South Africa to enforce the judgment debt won against Ghana. It will be recalled that a UK tribunal issued a final award after it concluded that Ghana breached its contractual obligation by terminating a power purchase agreement with GPGC. Already, Ghana's Regina House in the UK has been put under receivership to defray the cost. Now, we have a statement from the Finance Ministry. Evans, what does it say?
Yes, the ministry is clarifying that indeed it's made some progress, confirming what we're reporting now. They didn't put a figure to it, but they clarify as follows, that they wish to state that they have made necessary arrangements to pay off the outstanding claims agreed with Trafigura. So the negotiations have yielded results according to the finance minister, and that this has been fruitful and after several rounds of negotiations. So they're negotiating around this, and that they're therefore very surprised at the circulation of this letter on social media. Now, they also say that the government of Ghana remains committed to honoring its obligations under the settlement agreement with Trafigura, with the view to bring this matter to closure. Question is, how much exactly is the government agreeing to pay to Trafigura? We know is 43 million is what they have raised so far, but the amount in question is far more than that, and that would beg the question: how soon can they raise that amount? But also, what has been the terms of the negotiations with that particular the Trafigura and others on this particular matter? Because we saw the letter today in which Trafigura was actually threatening to take over additional properties in South Africa, and there is a controversy still surrounding the that property in London that we are keeping a close eye on. We'll be getting some more on this. I know that the minority side have been doing quite a bit of work on this. We've tried to get some further clarity from the Attorney General's department. We're yet to get a bit more, but the Finance Ministry is clear on the matter that they've made significant progress. Negotiations have proceeded very smoothly, and they will close this as a matter of priority, and they've reached some agreement to clear this off completely. Still listening to News 90s on Joy 99.7 FM. Now, a retired justice of the Supreme Court, William Atugaba, has descended heavily on the Electoral Commission over its refusal to allow a forensic audit of the voters' register. The opposition NDC has been demanding the audit after the EC admitted some of its officials illegally transferred votes.
Well, in the wake of that admission, the NDC has claimed to have uncovered more discrepancies that requires that such an audit is undertaken before the crucial 2024 election. Speaking in an interview with my colleague Elton Brobe, Justice Atugaba, who presided over the Supreme Court during the 2012 election petition, insisted that allowing an audit will not constitute an interference in the job of the EC.
Well, the EC is the body mandated to do its work and to handle these things. But that's the trouble with this country. People can hide under the law, subvert it, become dictatorial, throw overboard the Constitution and the rule of law. That's what is happening in this country. It's terrible, and it has to be checked. You have power to exercise it, like I've read to you.
Right.
That to be exercised for the welfare and in the interest of the people. If you are not doing that, you don't have the power. You can have the power to do only what is right. Can't just say I'm the authority, so what I'm doing, whether it's wrong or right, is finished. Cannot be so. It's a principle. This Constitution has ordained constitutionalism.
So, in terms of fairness and transparency, you think that the Electoral Commission should at least allow itself to be audited as we head towards the elections?
The EC man was saying that there will be no further exhibition
Yes.
And when again? Would there be any other exhibition before the election within adequate time for people to raise matters?
So what do you want done?
The Electoral Commission shall, by constitutional instrument, make regulations for the effective performance of its functions under this constitution. So that's their duty, to make the regulation to achieve effective performance. Not just exercise power, but for the effective obtention of the object of the power. That is their power. So if that is not manifestly shown, they are not actually acting within their constitutional power. That's the trouble with Africa. We just love power, we just look at it, and want to, I'm the one in charge, and that's it. That's not constitutionalism. That is not it. And unless we get out of that and say that the law is not any private person's property, it is the most public and most binding system of doing things. Everybody is under that. Lest we get that done, people feel just too powerful, and that's what happens. Now, how does the independent, I think some are saying that to interfere with the power side. In what way? They're only trying to let you see the facts of the matter more clearly.
Well, meanwhile, Evans, in the last 24 hours, the National Democratic Congress has been presenting its case to members of the diplomatic community, CSOs, and organized labor. According to the Director of Elections and IT of the NDC, Dr. Edward Omani-Boamah, they will not present any further evidence to the EC because the Commission has shown it is not trustworthy.
They are not going to receive it. It is only the forensic audit team that will receive it because they are not worth our trust. When trust is broken, conflict, we need a third party. Is that not it? That's your ADR. And we have proposed UNDP, bring in a mediator. Let the mediator facilitate the forensic audit. Let all stakeholders nominate and let's come together, audit the register and audit the IT system. UNDP has a track record. UNDP is not NDC, it's not MPP, it's not PNC, it's not CPP. Is this too difficult to ask for? The legal academics here, Dr. Sawyer and the rest, will tell you when a criminal pleads guilty as charged, the case is simplified, is that not it? The judge has to just convict and sentence. Fortunately, the criminals have admitted to wrongdoing. Is that not it? At least, Multimedia says they've admitted to 3 of the allegations. Electoral Commission. It's not me. And some of them are criminal. So, when it is us unearthing and you admitting, how on earth should we trust that the more we bring, you are going to be dealing with all of them? That's one. And 2, even we expose, you try to come around and rationalize. If you look at the trust equation, the numerator has reliability and credibility. Very, very strong points there. There's a third one. Their self-interest is so huge. Don't we know how they got to the commission? A whole group had to be sacked for them to be brought there. Isn't it in their best interest for the MPP that brought them in there to stay in office? Their self-interest is so huge. And that is in the denominator of the trust equation. Their reliability is suspect. And they have also damaged their credibility by allowing BVR kits to be stolen under CCTV surveillance.
Well, it has been exactly 1 week since the NDC organized a nationwide protest to press the EC to give into a forensic audit. The party at the time gave the EC a 1 week ultimatum. Let's listen to the party's communication officer, Sami Jemfi, at the time.
We have decided to wait for just a week to know how they are going to respond. It is our expectation that they will do the needful because clearly the intransigence they are displaying is not in the interest of Ghana. It is not even in their own interest. Look, Ghana is the only country we have. Many Ghanaians, those who came ahead of us, our forebears, have made sacrifices for the peace and stability we enjoy today. The least the Mensah-led Electoral Commission can do is to preserve the peace we are enjoying. Elections are important because they are the platform through which the people choose who their leaders are.
So Sammy, I was trying to find out from you that after your 1 week ultimatum, if nothing happens on the part of the EC, what next?
What you saw today is just a tip of the iceberg in terms of what we will do to demand transparency, fairness, accountability, and justice from the Electoral Commission.
Well, Forstina, today marks exactly 1 week since that ultimatum was issued and the NDC embarked on that nationwide protest. So let's get clarity now from the NDC what they plan to do now, considering that the Electoral Commission is not barging. And just over the weekend on News File, the EC Deputy Chair was emphatic that they will stand their ground. Sammy Jimfi is a National Communications Officer, joins us on the line right now. Sammy, so that ultimatum expires today. What next?
Well, we just concluded a meeting at the party headquarters on our...
Apologies there. We may have lost him on the line there. We'll try and get him back on a better connection so we can hear him talk to us. There's been a meeting, so we get that exclusive there from Sammy James, who's the National Communications Officer of the party. Thankfully, he's on. Is he? Okay, great. Mr. James, we lost you briefly. Thanks for staying on. Yes, you were making a point about a meeting you just finished.
Yeah, we just concluded a meeting which discussed, among other things, next line of action. Should we not hear anything favorable from the Electoral Commission by tomorrow? At least I can tell you that the party intends to formally write to the Electoral Commission as a follow-up to the petition we gave them last week, Tuesday, when we embarked on the historic Enough is Enough demonstration across the 16 regional capitals of Ghana. So we hope to hear something favorable by tomorrow. We're going to write to them as a follow-up. And if we do not hear anything, we are going to move to stage 2 of our, action plan aimed at putting pressure on the Electoral Commission to do the needful. It is our hope that other stakeholders in the electoral process will join this call for the Electoral Commission to do what is fair, what is just, by allowing for this probe, this investigation.
And what will stage 2 entail?
Come again?
What will stage 2 entail?
Evans, we already served notice that we will be hitting the streets again. So that is something that you should be expecting. But this time around, the form and mood may be different from the first one you saw. So it is something that we are still working on. And when we get there, you'll see. Protest, obviously, will be the main cause of action for us. But even beyond that, there are certain things that we are currently considering doing to ensure that the Electoral Commission does the needful.
In this latest letter to the Electoral Commission, will you add the evidence? The Electoral Commission says you promised them to provide the details to back the claims you're making so that they can evaluate it themselves.
But the Electoral Commission has told you that they have already corrected the errors we raised. Bosman Asare was on News File on Saturday with your colleague MFR Pau, and he said that save 2 of the issues we have raised, all the others have been rectified. So if they have already rectified it, then they don't need anything from us. They should just give us the corrected version, or if you like, updated version of the register, so that if we check and there are no problems with it, hooray, the matter ends. If we check and there are still problems with it, then we'll point out to them that, look, you've still done a poor job, and this register is still not credible to the extent that many eligible voters stand the risk of being disenfranchised on 7th December 2024.
Thank you very much, Sammy Jane, for that. So listening to News 90 on Joy 99.7 FM. And George Yaffe is here with the latest from the world of business. Hello, George.
Hi, Evans. And coming up in business, China remains a major destination for the country's imports and exports as United Arab Emirates overtakes Switzerland for gold shipments. And freight forwarders accuses port authorities of contributing to current pressure on the city as it calls on Bank of Ghana to halt certain practices at the port. The business news on Newsnight is brought to you by MTN Business. Welcome to the new world of business. Kingdom Books and Stationers, Interstanks and Pepsodent, Herbal and Charcoal.
Visited Kweku at his spunky new office to congratulate him on opening his business. And man, was I impressed. The business is just moving quick. The sales, customers, everything is just working seamlessly. The secret? He said,
it's MTN Business Broadband. In this fast-paced environment, we need fast and reliable internet to support all business types. No laggy online meetings, great download and upload speeds, impeccable business management systems, all inclusive. I mean, you can have it all.
Shout! I signed on immediately.
To enable your business stay ahead and stay connected, make sure you're signed on to the best internet made just for businesses. MTN Business Broadband. Sign up today on broadband.mtn.com.gh and manage your account on my MTN app. Call 0244 308 111 for more information. We are good together everywhere you go.
Hooray! Kingdom Books and Stationery Limited's back-to-school promotion is here with us once again. From August to September this year, Kingdom Books and Stationery Limited is giving a generous 10 to 20% discount on all school items like textbooks, pens, pencils, erasers, exercise books, and much more across all our branches in Accra, Tema, Kumasi, Takrade, Winneba, and Cape Coast. Parents, teachers, and students, please hurry while stocks last. For more information, call us on 0506 487 557 or 0302 764 209 or via email at info@kingdomgh.com. You can also visit our website www.kingdomstoreonline.com. Kingdom Books, where quality and affordability are both assured. Terms and conditions apply.
Supposed to happen when we find the
Yeah. We have a new leader in town. Obiarenti. Amafo. Madam was Sibebre. When him say my baby, maybe more charcoal for whiter teeth. More charcoal. Not only that, maybe lemon. More lemon. Zinc for fresher breath. More zinc. And fluoride for stronger teeth.
Introducing the new President Charcoal packed with more power with a combination of charcoal and lemon for naturally whiter teeth. Grab yours now. This advert is FDA approved.
Luxurious, affordable living is your right, and no one understands it better than BOT Properties. BOT Properties specializes in modern residential buildings and commercial office spaces. Our properties include the Equator, a 12-story made up of over 100 apartments near Accra Mall. Other Equator courts, we offer you the deluxe living experience with our top-of-the-range homes, high-quality homes built with style and precision to suit your lifestyle. The Equator Courts is a gated community with 2-story, 4-bedroom detached houses at Ogbojo, East Legon, near American House. Our office complexes include Zion House, Shiashi, East Legon, Zion House, Sofa Line Interchange, Kumasi. Our offices and apartments are for both rental and outright purchases at affordable prices and with flexible payment terms. Kindly contact us on 0257 960 919 or visit botproperties.com. BOT Properties, the new meaning of affordable luxury.
Ago Ghana! Bishop David Olani Oyedepo at 70. Hooray!
With his dedication, he remains awake, sowing seeds of faith, excellence, and transformation. The enemy may watch from a distance, but Bishop David Oyedepo stands tall, undeterred, unwavering. As the world celebrates his 70th birthday, we reflect on the extraordinary journey of a visionary leader, servant of God, a teacher of the word, the man who received an 18-hour vision to deliver humanity from the oppressions of the enemy through the preaching of the word of faith.
And now the hour has come to liberate the world from all oppressions of the devil by the preaching of the word of faith. And I'm sending you to undertake this task.
We salute you. Your influence transcends borders. Your teachings ignite faith, and your leadership brings hope to millions. Happy 70th birthday, Bishop David Olani Oyedepo.
The luckiest.
*712#.
Luck is everywhere.
for everyone, yeah.
Welcome and now for a dial star 712 hash and found no regrets. A side comma investors are a striking gold. A comma health workers are a diagnosing lack with precision. A side comma that tough guy who couldn't hold back his tears. Say a comma passionate fan or also entering containing a joy. Afraid to the stressor or turning a hard end stitches into a bundle of happiness. And now a comma if you say your next big win is right here.
Dial star 712 hash and join the luckiest winning celebration. From the 1st of July 2024, dial star 712 hash to keep buying tickets as a group, individual, or even as a community. Win loads of cash and prizes in the community draw or go for the grand draw on the 30th of November 2024. Unlock your luck with star 712 hash. Join the winning streak now.
The luckiest
Star 712 hash.
luck is everywhere for everyone, yeah. The luckiest.
You welcome back to Business on Newsnight. Now, China has again emerged as the major destination for the country's exports and imports. Now, that's according to the second quarter trade statistics released by the Ghana Statistical Service. United Arab Emirates has also overtaken Switzerland as the major destination for gold exports. James Shen has the rest of the story.
Ghana's economy continued its positive trajectory in the second quarter of 2024, recording a trade surplus for the third consecutive quarter. This represents a turnaround from the deficit experienced in the same period last year. The reports from the Ghana Statistical Service indicate that China remains the country's primary source of Ghana's import, contributing 12.3 billion cedis, which represent 20.9% of total import, followed by the United Arab Emirates and the United Kingdom, with an import value of 9 billion and 5.2 billion cedis respectively. On the other hand, gold bullion led Ghana's export with a value of 37 billion Ghana cedis, accounting for 57.6% of total export. Other major exports included crude petroleum and cashew nuts. The United Arab Emirates remained Ghana's top export destination, accounting for 15 billion Ghana cedis, representing 23.3% of total export. Switzerland followed closely while South Africa ranked third. However, the share of cocoa beans and product declined slightly during the quarter from 21% to 20%.
And that is a Business Desk report. Now, freight forwarders are accusing port authorities and shipping lines of contributing to the current pressure on the Ghana city. This is due to the fact that they are quoting exchange rates way higher than the approved numbers. They are therefore calling on the Bank of Ghana to move in now to challenge or stop this practice. The call came during their protest today in Tema to push for a review of shipping charges at the port. Nana Mensah is the Vice President of the Freight Forward Association of Ghana.
Government gives us exchange rates every week. They use their own exchange rate. They quote in dollars, which is even against Bank of Ghana law. And then they convert it with their own exchange rate, which is way higher than what the bank, in fact, it's higher than what is on the black market. This is not acceptable. This and among others that we are saying that enough is enough. We have been complaining to all authorities, the necessary authorities, the appropriate authorities that has to do with these issues. Nothing is being done over 3 decades. But today, in fact, we did this to let them know that we have given them 2 weeks and then see the effect of what we have done. If they don't, we will take it to the next level.
Nana Mensah is the Vice President of the Freight Forward Association of Ghana. Economist Professor Lord Mensah is projecting that Ghana will pass the third review under the IMF program. Now, this will lead to the release of some $360 million by the IMF board in December this year. The IMF staff are currently in town assessing how Ghana has fared under the fund program, which will end that is in October for 2020. That is the time that the team will finish the assessment here in Ghana. Professor Mensah, however, believes this will come with some concerns about the economy at the end of their review.
The only thing that, for me, is quite kind of scary is the exchange rate. From where I sit, if you should look at the numbers in relation to their review the last time in June, I would say that the exchange rate depreciation has slowed down a bit as compared to the review, and then last year. And so the economic indicators I'm seeing on the grounds, there seem to be one way or the other an improvement. But then also, let's not overlook, the sluggish movement of the negotiations we are having with our external creditors. And so that is the only thing that may affect, Ghana in their current visit. Then also, government ability and intentions to reorient, the local, financing structure from short-term to long-term.
Economist Professor Lord Mensah. Now, Ghana retains its position as the third lowest fuel price in Africa September this year. That's according to the globalpetroleumprices.com. Now, this comes after the continuous marginal reduction in the price of fuel at the pumps last week. There is more in this report.
Ghana's average petrol price of 98 pence per litre now ranks it 43rd globally, up from 45th previously. The country retains its 10th position in Africa, where Libya boasts of the lowest fuel price of 3 pence per litre. The prices of petroleum products fell between 2 to 4% for petrol, diesel, and liquefied petroleum gas from August 1st, 2024. This decrease follows the slowdown in Ghana's currency depreciation since July 2024, coupled with favorable international market dynamics. In Africa, Egypt and Angola secured second and third posts respectively, with fuel prices of 3 pence per litre respectively. Algeria, Nigeria, Sudan, Ethiopia, Tunisia and Liberia trailed behind in that order.
And that is a Business Desk report. Now, the State Housing Corporation says that it has recorded a surge in revenue by over 300%, according to its 2023 annual report. State Housing Enterprise with this responsibility of providing affordable housing to people in the country. Say the country's revenue actually shot up by some significant margin to 37 million Ghana cedis for last year. Managing Director, that is Kobna Mpofo Apia, says that the result shows that the company is now on that right path with its mandate.
If you look at where we've come from 2016, 2017, and to now, our revenues have increased by over 370%. In 2017, our profit was about 7 million. Now we got in excess of 37 million. Which is in excess of about 380% in terms of profitability along the years. You will not be able to get the kind of pricing that we have at State Housing in open markets. What the government is doing is to provide tools for home buyers to be able to meet the prices of it, because the lower that you might think you are going in price, and you'll also be compromising on quality, and that is something that we wouldn't compromise on, because these are homes people are going to live in with their families. We don't want homes collapsing on people. So the government have brought out the national mortgage scheme, where people are able to get lower mortgages. Now it's even going to get better with the introduction of the credit scoring system, where everybody is going to be scored individually. So people who are more responsible will even have lower mortgage rates. That is the future of housing, and I believe that is where we should be. And I'm glad that we are there now. So,
Managing Director of State Housing Company, Kwabena Mpofo Apia, speaking to Joy Business after its annual general meeting today, and it can be described as the first in several years. And that's all for Business on Newsnight.
George, thank you very much. It's so live here on Newsnight. It's on Joy 99.7. It's alive, your Newsnight is on Joy 99.7 FM. Now, the former Supreme Court Judge, Justice William Atogaba, has raised concerns over recent appointments to the Supreme Court, alleging that senior judges are being overlooked in favor of less qualified candidates due to factors unrelated to merit or established protocols.
Well, Evans, the former judge, questioned the integrity of the selection process, suggesting that considerations outside the accepted norms may be influencing these judicial appointments. Now, some recent appointments by President Akufo-Addo to the Apex Court are yet to be approved by Parliament. Speaking exclusively to Joy News, Justice Atogaba tells my colleague Elton Brobe that the development is brewing discontent in the judiciary.
It is all too easy to pretend that everything is fine
nothing is going wrong. When allegations of corruption were made against the judiciary, what happened? I mean, I met 3 lawyers. One of them was my cousin. It's not because he's my cousin I'm mentioning this. They were run down, banned from appearing before the courts for making those allegations. A few months later, an ask came. What happened? Did the corruption start from that time? So it is the thing with this country. People, that's why I'm saying, people just love the law. They take the power and subvert it. That's what's happening. They subvert it and feel that they have the power. That is not the power.
But should we have more judges?
I'm coming. And the appointment system. Why must some senior and more competent justices be left and others less experienced hoisted to the highest court? What is it about?
Is there some consideration coming from somewhere?
Well, but you just look at a prima facie in any institution. Right now it's happening. I understand there are grumbles in the police, in the army. Officers are being promoted above seniors. Why should these things happen? I think the judiciary is, I mean, the person doing that can't apply that to the judiciary. And as I say, look at the appointments. Find some very competent, very experienced in the Court of Appeal, in the High Court for many years. They are just sitting there. Others come for 2 minutes. I mean, these things are happening.
And why is it so? Is there any other consideration beyond the laid down rules that governs the promotion and appointment of judges to certain aspects of our courts, including the Supreme Court?
If there were no other considerations, we wouldn't have grievances with the exercise of the power. Things were done in accordance with the law, the principles. I mean, for superior courts, there must be a person of high integrity and proving, honesty, this kind of thing. Be a lawyer if you are to go to the Supreme Court of not less than 15 years standing. Right. What's the purpose of requiring 15 years standing? Is that somebody, you just look at the roll, the person was called at this date and has been in the archives for 15 years, therefore he qualifies. I mean, that certainly is not. It is meant to let the person grow. When you find somebody down the ladder, hoisted to the Supreme Court over, I mean, look. Let us not. This country will love to pretend. I'm telling you, I have to say this because this is what is happening.
All right.
If we don't get out of that and be sincere, respect the Constitution, and do things always with the consciousness that that power is not private power. It's public power for public purposes. And must be, that is the only power you have. Right. You don't have power to misuse the power. But now, over the years, I'm not saying that this thing started now. If you go back from Nkrumah's time, you see traces of it, probably it's been worsening over the years. But a sore, which is left untreated,
it becomes something else in the future.
Retired Supreme Court Judge there, Justice William Atugubwa. Evans, let's move on, shift our attention now to the labour front. The Fair Wages and Salaries Commission, they have refuted claims by the Civil and Local Government Staff Association that they have downgraded the portfolio and earnings of almost 900 of their members after recently migrating them onto the Ghana TVET platform. While in a statement, CLOCSAC demanded for the reversal of the migration, citing lack of consultation and the adverse impact on salaries and job security. The Commission has been responding to these claims and says it cannot be true. My colleague Michael Ashade joins me in the studio with details of this statement. Papani, let's start with the claims by Clocksack. What exactly are they asking for?
Well, let me break them just four, right? We know that they are talking about the lack of options for these members that are being migrated onto this new Ghana TVET system. They say that, well, they lack options to remain in the civil service or join the TVET. That's the options they've been given them. They feel that is not enough. Again, they also allege that some of them have been downgraded specifically from level 21 to level 19. And then again, they also talk about insufficient sensitization on the new scheme of service for these well over 900 staff or members of Clocksack. And then finally, the fact that Clocksack was excluded from the migration process. They felt that they were not consulted enough, and that if they were part, it would have been a different process altogether. So these are the major ones. And they ended by calling for the sacking or the CEO of the Fair Wages and Salaries Commission should step down.
But the Fair Wages and Salaries Commission, they have also issued a statement clarifying some of these issues. What does it say?
So, firstly, let's take the issues one by one. In terms of the migration in itself, and then on the issues about consultation, the Fair Wages and Salaries Commission says that the data does not show that any employee was downgraded from level 21 to 19 as claimed by Clocksack. And again, it says that it did not request employees to write licensure examinations, nor did it convert any civil servant into a teacher that would be to be under the TVET service. And then again, and that lies outside the mandate of the Fair Wages and Salaries Commission. And then finally, on the point about whether the CEO to step down, it says that we therefore consider the call by Clocksack for the sacking of the CEO for the Fair Wages and Salaries Commission as unfortunate and unfair. But they also end with an appeal to Clocksack not to go ahead with their intended strike, which we know that will be happening at the end of this month.
But will Clocksack listen to this appeal? We'll find out, because we have Dr. Isaac Bampo-Addo joining us in subsequent bulletins.
Indeed, and you can catch the details of that, the unrest on the labor front, because that's not the only protest that we're beginning to see on the labor front. We know that the Public Sector Workers Union, they've also issued a 6-day ultimatum to government to heed to the demands of the striking staff of the National Commission for Civic Education. All that and more on News Prime on the Joy News channel pretty shortly at 7. You want to stay for that. Let's do some sports now.
Well, after 7 months, Parliament's Select Committee on Sports is finally opening up the demands that were made by the Save Ghana Football Group, a sports pressure group. Today, the sports minister and members of the Ghana League Clubs Association took their turn before the subcommittee. Here are excerpts from the sports minister's speech before the committee.
Once you finish a major tournament like this, there should be rehabilitation for those facilities. And this rehabilitation is currently ongoing in both Accra and in Cape Coast. And because SCAF have not come to certify the work that we have done, and the only one they've certified was at Kumasi, and they've withdrawn, we have notified CAF that the rehabilitation work that we started immediately after the AFCON has been completed.
Do we say that, per your submission, National Sports Authority failed its responsibility?
Of course, on Kumasi, if they haven't taken that singular action, we played Central African Republic match, and there was no any problem.
Yep, so according to the sports minister, the NSA are responsible for the country's predicament. We still wait for CAF's decision on where the Black Stars of Ghana will host Sudan.
When should we expect that decision?
In due course, I think by close of this week, we should hear from CAF.
It looks more likely we're going to be playing our home game somewhere in the sub-region.
Exactly. In fact, CAF have actually been magnanimous because per the regulations, the venue for the match, minimum a month before the game, is to be determined. So these are extraordinary circumstances.
Thank you very much. And that's it for News Night tonight. My name is Mensah.
I'm Forstina. Sarfo. Good evening.
Enjoy the rest of your evening.